Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi has opened the floodgates of multiple impeachment inquiries from various committees inside of Congress. And tonight, I'm going to read to you the transcript of the telephone conversation between President Trump and President Zelensky of the Ukraine, the transcript that Nancy Pelosi never saw before she unleashed the dogs. I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance. Welcome to the program, friend. I have spent an enormous amount of time watching CNN. And the reason I've been doing that is because I know what I think and I know what I believe happened, and I can get it pretty quickly from watching Fox or listening to Rush, and hopefully you take advantage of some of the great media sources that are out there. But the reason I watched so much of CNN is I wanted to see the interviews with the sworn enemies of President Trump. I wanted to see what they were doing and hear what they were saying in regards to why Nancy Pelosi has finally buckled and allowed 6 different committees to begin an impeachment inquiry. Now, please understand, this is not an impeachment. They don't have the votes for an impeachment. It's an impeachment inquiry. Now, as you know, impeachment has been talked about by Democrat congressmen since 17 days after President Trump was elected. The first mention of impeachment was 17 days after he was sworn in. That's what we're dealing with. Well over 2 years, approaching 3 years of incessant calls for President Trump to be impeached, Russian collusion. I won't even go down the list. I'm so weary of it. But this we know. She finally buckled. The rabble in her party caused her to cave in. But we need to understand, she's trying to walk a tightrope. She hasn't okayed an impeachment. She has okayed formal impeachment inquiries. She's given the green light to the various chairmen of the various committees who are now going to begin holding their own hearings. So I listened to what they were talking about. And at the end of everything that I could discern, the common thread of what they want to impeach President Trump for is that they hate him. They don't have a legal ground. Now, before the transcript of the phone call between President Trump and President Zelensky was released, Nancy Pelosi had already made up her mind she was going to unleash the dogs for impeachment. They hadn't seen it, and then they really stepped in it. And then, of course, they talked about the whistleblower. And by the end of this week, the whistleblower has been given permission to testify before Congress. What we now know about the whistleblower is that they weren't in the room. So this so-called whistleblower is a member of the intelligence community. He's a spy. And somehow, someone working in the intelligence community was spying on the president, talking to people who were in the room, getting secondhand information, and then inflating it so that you had media people saying that President Trump brought up Biden and his son 5, 6, 7, 8 times. I'm going to read to you this transcript. Now, there's a disclaimer on it that this is not an exact transcript, but what you have to understand is that it was written on the spot. So picture someone in court writing as fast as they can or taking shorthand. That's what we're dealing with here, okay? It was not a recorded conversation. And I want to say one other thing. I'm going to reiterate it at the end of the program. How many more times do you think President Trump is going to speak candidly with world leaders? How many world leaders do you think, leaders of other countries, how many leaders of other nations do you think will speak candidly to President Trump? This is a horrific precedent. And President Trump did it to show that the Democrats are, in fact, still on a witch hunt. So here is the transcript of the phone call. President of the United States congratulating him. Congratulations on a great victory. We all watched from the United States, and you did a terrific job. The way you came from behind, somebody who wasn't given much of a chance, and you ended up winning easily. It's a fantastic achievement. Congratulations. You are absolutely right, Mr. President. We did win big and we worked hard for this. We worked a lot, but I would like to confess to you that I had an opportunity to learn from you. We used quite a few of your skills and knowledge, and were able to use it as an example for our elections. And yes, it is true that these were unique elections. We were in a unique situation that we were also to achieve a unique success. I'm able to tell you the following. The first time you called me to congratulate me when I won my presidential election, and the second time you are now calling me when my party won the parliamentary election. I think I should run more often, so you can call me more often, and we can talk over the phone more often. All right, I'm going to stop at various points and make comments. This is kind of fun because early on, this candidate was given little or no chance of victory, and he is a Trump-like candidate, saying things that upset the apple cart. And here he is, complimenting, maybe flattering our president, saying that he learned a lot from him. Now, in the Ukrainian system of government, it was important that he win the presidency, but to achieve his policy goals, it was even more important that he get a majority in parliament. So that's why President Trump was calling him a second time. I'm going to take a break. When I come back, I'll continue. Actually, let me just read a little bit more. The president laughs after he compliments him. That's a very good idea. I think your country is very happy about that. Zelensky, well, yes, to tell you the truth, we are trying to work hard because we wanted to drain the swamp here in our country. We brought in many, many new people, not the old politicians, not the typical politicians, because we want to have a new format and a new type of government. You are a great teacher for us in that. He's thanking President Trump for his example. This is a relationship that doesn't involve the president bullying him. Think about that. Think of what you've been hearing from the mainstream godless mob of the press, the fake news. You're hearing that President Trump acted like a mobster, like a mafia don, bullying this man. This man is coming out saying, we want to drain the swamp here. Where have we heard that before, President Trump? I'll be right back. You're going to love this dialogue. Please stay with me. Introducing Roxy Guitar. If you're a guitar or bass player, whether you play acoustic or electric, check out Roxy Guitar. I've been playing for over 40 years and seen guitar stores all over America. I've never seen a store like Roxy Guitar. Roxy Guitar has over 700 guitars in stock, over 1,500 pedals, over 200 amps. For the beginner or price-conscious buyer, there's Michael Kelly guitars. For the serious player or professional, Roxy Guitar has the finest selection of guitar lines I've ever seen. You know I love Warrior guitars. Roxy Guitar has over 100 Warriors in stock. They have Heritage, G&L, Gretsch, John Sears, BC Rich, Duesenberg, Dean, legendary guitars at great prices, including pre-owned Gibsons, Fenders, and more. Let them know you heard about Roxy Guitar from Randall Terry and receive 10% or more off your purchase on select items. Go to roxyguitar.com. Welcome back, friend. I'm continuing with the transcript of President Trump's phone call with President Zelensky. You tell me if you hear anything that sounds like pressure or a criminal act or something worthy of impeachment. He had just, the president of Ukraine had just complimented him. He said, you're a great teacher for us in that. President Trump, well, it's very nice of you to say that. I will say that we do a lot for Ukraine. We spend a lot of effort and a lot of time, much more than the European countries are doing, and they should be helping you more than they are. Germany does almost nothing for you. All they do is talk, and I think it's something that you should really ask them about. When I was speaking to Angela Merkel, she talks Ukraine, but she doesn't do anything. A lot of the European countries are the same way, so I think it's something you want to look at, but the United States has been very, very good to Ukraine. I wouldn't say that it's reciprocal necessarily because things are happening that are not good, but the United States has been very, very good to Ukraine. The last leader of Ukraine was not on good terms with President Trump, and the ambassador to the Ukraine, I'm getting ahead of myself, but the last ambassador from Ukraine to America was a big Hillary and Obama fan. So Zelensky, President Zelensky, yes, you're absolutely right. Not only 100%, but 1,000% about the states are doing so much and the European countries aren't doing anything. He said, but actually 1,000%. And I can tell you the following. I did talk to Angela Merkel and I did meet with her. I also met and talked with Macron and told him that they are not doing quite as much as they need to be doing on the issues with the sanctions. This is sanctions against Russia. They are not enforcing the sanctions. They are not working as much as they should work for Ukraine. It turns out that even though logically the European Union should be our biggest partner, but technically the United States is a much bigger partner than the European Union. And I'm very grateful to you for that because the United States is doing quite a lot for Ukraine. Much more than the European Union, especially when we are talking about sanctions against the Russian Federation. I would also like to thank you for your great support in the area of defense. We are ready to continue to cooperate for the next step. Specifically, we are most ready to buy more javelins, that's a type of missile, ready to buy more javelins from the United States for defense purposes. The president, our president responds, I would like you to do us a favor, though, because our country has been through a lot and Ukraine knows a lot about it. I would like you to find out what happened with this whole situation with Ukraine. They say crowd strike. I guess you have one of your wealthy people, the server. They say Ukraine has it. There are a lot of things that went on, the whole situation. I think you're surrounding yourself with some of the same people, and I would like to have the Attorney General call you or your people, and I would like you to get to the bottom of it. As you saw yesterday, that whole nonsense ended with a very poor performance by a man named Robert Mueller, an incompetent performance, but they say a lot of it started with Ukraine. Whatever you can do, it's very important that you do it if it's possible. Now, so you understand, it's not just that the Russians help with the fake dossier. You know about it, right? Hillary Clinton's campaign paid for a fake dossier made up of lies about President Trump. It was given to the FBI. The FBI couldn't corroborate it because it was fake, but the FBI used it to get search warrants to spy on President Trump and his team. There have been people saying from Square One in press reports that Ukraine was also involved with this against Trump 4 years ago. So what President Trump is referring here to has to do with the fake dossier. And there have been multiple press reports that there are people in the Ukraine who have been saying, we've got information about the fake dossier and how we were called upon to try and derail President Trump's election. That's what President Trump is referring to here. So he says, please get to the bottom of it. It's important that you do it if that's possible. President Zelensky, yes, it's very important for me and everything that you just mentioned earlier. For me as president, it is very important that we are open for any future cooperation. We are ready to open a new page on cooperation in relations with the United States, between the United States and Ukraine. For that purpose, I just recalled our ambassador from the United States, and he will be replaced by a very competent and very experienced ambassador who will work hard on making sure that our two nations get closer. I would also like and hope to see him having your trust and your confidence and have personal relations with you so we can cooperate even more so. I will personally tell you that one of my assistants spoke with Mr. Giuliani just recently, and we are hoping very much that Mr. Giuliani will be able to travel to Ukraine and we will meet once he comes to Ukraine. I just wanted to assure you once again that you have nobody but friends around us. I will make sure that I surround myself with the best and most experienced people. I also wanted to tell you that we are friends. We are great friends, and you, Mr. President, have friends in our country, so we can continue our strategic partnership. I also plan to surround myself with great people, and in addition to that investigation, I guarantee, as the president of Ukraine, that all the investigations will be done openly and candidly. That I can assure you. Note, it was not President Trump who brought up Rudy Giuliani. It was President Zelensky. I've got to take a break. I'll be right back. Does this look like a mob conversation to you?
I also want to speak tonight directly to Muslims throughout the world. We respect your faith. Its teachings are good and peaceful. And those who commit evil in the name of Allah blaspheme the name of Allah.
We have reaffirmed again and again that the United States is not and never will be at war with Islam. Islam teaches peace.
Islam is a religion of peace. They are not Muslims, they are monsters.
We've been told that Muslim terrorists have hijacked the peaceful religion of Islam. But Islamic art and literature tell a very different story. To know the truth, we only have to study the narrative of the founder of Islam, Muhammad, in his own words. Welcome back. I am reading the transcript of President Trump's conversation with President Zelensky of Ukraine. Now, President Zelensky just got through saying that they want to have open investigations, and now President Trump brings up the other investigation that was happening into Joe Biden's son. President Trump, good, because I had you heard a prosecutor who was a very good man and he was shut down, and that's really unfair. A lot of people are talking about that, the way they shut your very good prosecutor down, and you had some very bad people involved. Mr. Giuliani is a highly respected man. He was the mayor of New York City, a great mayor, and I would like him to call you. I will ask him to call you along with the Attorney General. Rudy very much knows what's happening and he is a very capable guy. If you could speak to him, that would be great. The former ambassador from the United States, the woman, was bad news, and the people she was dealing with in Ukraine were bad news. So I just want to let you know that. The other thing, there's a lot of talk about Biden's son, that Biden stopped the prosecution, and a lot of people want to find out about that. So whatever you can do with the Attorney General would be great. Biden went around bragging that he stopped the prosecution. So if you can look into it, it sounds horrible to me. This is totally legitimate. If our president as a world leader is talking to another leader of a nation and something corrupt or criminal happened in that other nation, how could the president not ask it to be looked at? Especially with the tape. We've played the tape for you. This is the core of it, people. Does this sound like an impeachable offense to you? No, it's the duty of the president. All right, I continue. President Zelensky, I wanted to tell you about the prosecutor. First of all, I understand that I'm knowledgeable about the situation. Since we won the absolute majority in our parliament, the next prosecutor general will be 100% my person, my candidate, who will be approved by the parliament, and he will start as a new prosecutor in September. He or she will look into the situation specifically to the company that you mentioned in this issue. The issue of the investigation of this case is actually the issue of making sure to restore the honesty. So we will take care of that and we'll work on the investigation of the case. On top of that, I would kindly ask you if you would have any additional information that you can provide to us. It would be very helpful for the investigation to make sure that we administer justice in our country with regard to the ambassador to the United States from Ukraine. As far as I recall, her name was Ivanovich. It was great that you were the first one who told me that she was a bad ambassador, because I agree with you 100%. Her attitude towards me was far from the best, as she admitted the previous president and she was on his side. She admired the former president of Ukraine and she was on his side. She would not accept me as a new president well enough. Mr. President, well, she's going to go through some things. I will have Mr. Giuliani give you a call, and I will also going to have Attorney General Barr call, and we will get to the bottom of it. I'm sure you will figure it out. I heard the prosecutor was treated very badly, and he was a very fair prosecutor, so good luck with everything. Your economy is going to get better and better, I predict. You have a lot of assets. It's a great country. I have many Ukrainian friends. They're incredible people. The Attorney General's office just released a statement, as you probably know, that they were never contacted by the president. Attorney General Barr has never spoken to the president or anyone at the White House about any of this. Attorney General Barr has never called the Ukraine. So whatever President Trump said he was going to do, he didn't even do. But if he had, it's still not an impeachable offense. It's not a crime. There's no crime here. Let's continue. President Zelensky, I would like to tell you that I also have quite a few Ukrainian friends that live in the United States. Actually, last time I traveled to the United States, I stayed in New York near Central Park, and I stayed at the Trump Tower. I will talk to them, and I hope to see them again in the future. I also wanted to thank you for your invitation to visit the United States, specifically Washington, D.C. On the other hand, I also want to assure you that we will be very serious about the case and will work on the investigation. As to the economy, there is much potential for our two countries, and one of the issues that is very important for Ukraine is energy independence. I believe we can be very successful in cooperating on energy independence with the United States. We're already working on cooperation. We are buying American oil, but I'm very hopeful for a future meeting. We'll have more time and more opportunities to discuss these opportunities and to get to know each other better. I would like to thank you very much for your support. Our president said, good. Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate that. I'll tell Rudy and General Barr to call. Thank you. Whenever you'd like to come to the White House, feel free to call. Give us a date, and we'll work that out. I look forward to seeing you. I'm going to take a break. I'll be right back. It's almost over. What Would Mohammed Do? Islamic Terrorism Explained is the best movie series documentary ever produced on the life of Muhammad and Islam. How do I know? Because it's what critics are saying. John Moore, radio host and author, said, I learned more from What Would Mohammed Do about Islam and Islamic terrorism than I've learned from everything I ever read and watched in my entire life. Best-selling author Dr. Bill Warner said, What Would Mohammed Do is the best movie series, TV production on the life of Muhammad and Islamic terrorism that has ever been produced. Friends, this is what the experts are saying. No one has ever done what we've done. I encourage you to get 1, 2, 4 copies. Call 304-289-3700. That's 304-289-3700, or order it at the address or the website that you see on the screen. Introducing Roxy Guitar. If you're a guitar or bass player, whether you play acoustic or electric, check out Roxy Guitar. I've been playing for over 40 years and seen guitar stores all over America. I've never seen a store like Roxy Guitar. Roxy Guitar has over 700 guitars in stock, over 1,500 pedals, over 200 amps. For the beginner or price-conscious buyer, there's Michael Kelly guitars. For the serious player or professional, Roxy Guitar has the finest selection of guitar lines I've ever seen. You know I love Warrior guitars. Roxy Guitar has over 100 Warriors in stock. They have Heritage, G&L, Gretsch, John Sears, BC Rich, Duesenberg, Dean, legendary guitars at great prices, including pre-owned Gibsons, Fenders, and more. Let them know you heard about Roxy Guitar from Randall Terry and receive 10% or more off your purchase on select items. Go to roxyguitar.com. All right, our president finished up saying, I look forward to seeing you. President Zelensky said, thank you very much. I would be very happy to come and would be happy to meet with you personally and get to know you better. I'm looking forward to our meeting, and I would also like to invite you to visit Ukraine and come to the city of Kiev, which is a beautiful city. We have a beautiful country which would welcome you. On the other hand, I believe that on September 1, we will be in Poland, and we can meet in Poland, hopefully. After that, it might be a very good idea for you to travel to Ukraine. We can either take my plane and go to Ukraine, or we can take your plane, which is probably much better than mine. The president. Okay, we can work that out. I look forward to seeing you in Washington and maybe in Poland, because I think we are going to be there at that time. Mr. Zelensky, thank you very much, Mr. President. Trump, congratulations on a fantastic job you've done. The whole world was watching. I'm not sure it was so much of an upset, but congratulations. Thank you, Mr. President. Bye-bye. There it is, people. There's the transcript recorded as it happened. This is what Nancy Pelosi did. It reminded me of Nancy Pelosi when she passed the Obamacare bill. No one read it. She said, we've got to pass it so that we can read it. We've got to impeach Trump before we read the transcript. We're going to impeach him because a whistleblower who wasn't there, it was leaked to us that President Trump said Giuliani's name, or rather Biden's name 7 or 8 times. Friends, this is all going to be settled at the ballot box. The most important thing that you can do, if you believe President Trump is the victim of a witch hunt, the most important thing you can do right now is to go and find this on the internet. You can find it anywhere, the transcript, and forward it to every friend you have, and then raise holy hell against the Democrat politicians in your area who are involved in this scam impeachment inquiry. Please, God bless you.